Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know I'm a little late to give you my top 10 of my most anticipated films in 2026. Most people have already made their list at the beginning of the month, but there's still a lot of time because there are a lot of movies that are on my top 10 that are not even out in theaters yet. And I hope that for 2026, we get a banger after a banger because in the last decade, we've always had the first half of the film that were very mid or terrible movies that are coming out at the first half of the year. Then the second half becomes a banger by the end. And I hope that this one changes a little bit and hopefully that we get banger after a banger for movies. And there are a lot of movies that made it into my top 10 list that I was looking forward to, but most of them have been very disappointing and it punches me in the balls and I walk out of the theater very unsatisfied. But there are a few movies out there that I was looking forward to. They do live up to the hype. And there are a lot of movies out there that weren't on my top 10 list, ends up being a major surprise. So now I'm going to give you my top 10 list. Coming in at number 10, I got Toy Story 5. We got another sequel for Pixar, and we haven't had the Toy Story since we had back in like 2019. And personally, I enjoyed the fourth one, but I will say it's the most forgettable sequel out of the four movies. But over the years, a lot of people bitch and complain that every time they try to do another Toy Story movie, they were saying, oh, why are they doing another one? What's the point? This is a lazy cash grab. And in general, when they do put out another Toy Story movie, most of them say it's better than the other one. And for the fifth movie, we're following the story with Bonnie, who is the new owner of these toys, and she gets a new toy, and she simply is getting that tablet, smart tablet device, who is now the main villain. And they didn't really show us much in that teaser trailer, but that's the potential of the new antagonist that Woody and Buzz and the rest of the gang are going to have to face off that thing, and becomes a threat to them. And it seems to me that they're trying to tackle the idea that now this new generation of children who are grown up and they're no longer playing any toys anymore, and that most parents are giving them a smart tablet and smartphone device to be on their tablets all the time and not playing toys like they used to, like us as generation as millennials. And in general, they mostly play on their Nintendo Switch as well, and most people don't and most kids don't do outdoors like they used to, and I think that this is gonna be an interesting concept that they're gonna tackle, and I can't wait, and it seems to me that this is gonna be a lot of very emotional, because according to Tim Allen, he got very emotional, but when they were recording the dialogue for Toy Story 5. I hope he's right. I hope I do get very emotional, and I hope that this one does surpass the fourth one. I really hope it does, but I'm really looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Coming in at number 9, we got Disclosure Day that is directed by Steven Spielberg. When I saw that teaser trailer, it didn't really tell us a whole lot. It just gave us a concept that now that the truth is out there and that we're not alone in the universe and their so-called aliens are living among us, and how would we react to the situation? Is it going to be a threat to us? Are going to be very frightened of them? You got a lot of good casts, and you got Emily Blunt, who she is great as always. I'm a big fan of Emily Blunt. I think she's going to do a great job. And we haven't had a Spielberg movie since The Fablemans. I think it was like back in like 2021 or 2022. Spielberg is my favorite filmmaker of all time. He is hands down the greatest filmmaker as ever lived. That's my opinion. Sure, in the last 10 years, he hasn't put out a lot of bangers, but there are a few exceptions like Ready Player One, Lincoln, and even The Fablemans. And I hope that this one becomes another banger Spielberg movie and getting back to his roots of a sci-fi film that we haven't seen him do in a long time. Since I think it might have been the 2005's War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, if I remember correctly. But I'm hope that this movie lives up to the hype, and I hope this is another banger Spielberg movie. Now coming in at number 8, I got the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I'm seriously hyped for this film, and I love the first one. Sure, it's not going to have a deep narrative story that's going to change your life. This is an escape. It's a fun and entertainment, and you love the characters, and the voice cast is incredible. I can't wait. And it seems like that Jack Black's Bowser is probably going to be the protagonist, not the lead protagonist, but now he's going to change gears, where now he's going to team up with Luigi in Mario. It seems like he's trying to be a changed man. and we're going to be facing his son Bowser Jr., played by Benny Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers. And I think that this looks good. And you got a new character, Rosalina, which I believe she was one of the Super Mario characters from the latest game because I was not familiar with her character. And it's also voiced by Brie Larson, which I did not know that when I saw that teaser trailer. And it from that from a teaser standpoint, it looks incredible. And you've already seen my reaction to that trailer. So I'm really hyped, and I hope that the sequel will be good. I hope it's entertaining just as much as the first one. I'm not expecting it to be one of the best films of the year. I'm expecting it to be fun. And I definitely know that this is going to join the $1 billion club, especially Toy Story 5, because the Super Mario Brothers, they're the most valuable IPs. And more kids are going to go run out to see it in theaters with the whole family. Now, coming in at number 7, I got Project Hail Mary, that is starring Ryan Gosling, and it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I'm a fan of their work. I love the 21 and 22 Jump Street. They did the Into the Spider-Verse movies. I'm really excited to see how they're going to bring this the thing to life, because it's a novel adaptation, and I'm not familiar with the source material. I know nothing. I'm only judging it from the trailer standpoint. I will say that it's not one of my favorite trailers of that year that came out a few months ago. You're basically following an astronaut that is played by Ryan Gosling, who awakens in a spacecraft with no memory of himself or his mission. He slowly deduces it is as the sole survivor of the crew that is sent to like save the planet and basically destroying every human life. And it's up to him to go out in space and trying to find the answers to how to save their planet. And I think this is an interesting concept, and this movie looks like it's going to potentially be one of the best films of the year. I love Ryan Gosling. I love Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I'm a big fan of their work, and this looks like it's going to be really good. It looks promising, and fingers crossed that it's good. Coming in at number 6, I got Supergirl. I'm looking forward to this DCU Supergirl. I think that the teaser was really good. I won't say that this is one of the best teasers out there. I love the director who is making this movie that made like Dumb Money, who made I, Tonya, Corella. I trust that they're going to do a good job. It's supposed to be directed by Craig Gillespie. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his last name, but I think he's definitely a good fit to direct a Supergirl movie, and this is going to be the first DCU film that is not directed by James Gunn, even though he's hands-on creatively. And we're going to see the Supergirl as going through a lot of the trauma, her like numbing the pain every time she goes on party off worlds, and now she's gonna have to protect this one girl and trying to get her revenge on the ones that killed her parents, and tries to go off on an adventure together. It does have a little bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it, and I'm very excited to see Jason Momoa's Lobo. How big of a role he's gonna play in, who knows? But I'm excited to see his portrayal as Lobo, because we know that that's his dream role that he's always wanted to play for a long time. And I think Millie Alcock is gonna nail the role as Supergirl. I can't wait to see it. It seems to me that they wanted to make her a little bit more the anti-hero, and I think that her performance is going to knock it out of the park. I think she's going to do a great job, and I hope that this movie does deliver. I hope it's not one of those generic comic book movies that we've had countless times before. I hope it's better than the teaser trailer. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the teaser. I just don't think it was as strong as that Superman trailers that we've seen a year ago. Now, coming in at number 5, I have Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. So far, I'm loving the marketing and the anticipation. The trailer had been a banger. You got an incredible all-star cast. And I can't wait to see the whole Odyssey storyline coming to life with that whole poem of Homer, who made that story. And this is supposed to be taking place during the post-Trojan War, and you have Odysseus, played by Matt Damon, trying to find his way home, and he's been lost through time. You got an incredible cast like Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Elliot Page, Mia Goth, John Bernthal, Benny Safdie, Charlize Theron. You got so many great all-star casts. We already know that Christopher Nolan's track record, he's about getting great all-star casts of well-known names. And most of them, you wouldn't even know that they're in the movie until you see the film. The cinematography looks great. The practical effects look incredible. I saw the opening prologue preview of The Odyssey during the IMAX screening of Avatar Fire and Ash, and I thought it was banger. It put me on the edge of my seat. And originally, most of you don't know that he was originally attached to direct the 2004's Troy movie that was starring Brad Pitt. They went after Christopher Nolan first, and I think he turned it down. I can't remember correctly. I think he might have turned it down because he was directing Batman Begins at that time. I could be wrong about that, but I cannot wait to get back to that whole fantasy epic swords and sandal that we haven't had in a long, long time. Sure, we had swords and sandals with the last film, Gladiator 2, that came out a couple of years ago. I understand that, but I feel like that with Christopher Nolan at the helm and directing, this is going to be the first time we're going to see a CGI character that is a Cyclops. And from what I've heard, it's supposed to be Elliot Page that plays the Cyclops in the movie. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but we'll see what happens. But I'm so hyped for this movie because the last film he did with Oppenheimer was a banger that got so many Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Now Nolan's a one-time Academy Award-winning director. Now coming in at number 4, I got Godzilla Minus Zero. I forgot that this movie was going to come out this year until they made the announcement of the release date that's going to be coming out in November. The same like a release date that they did a few years ago with Godzilla Minus One. And you know how much I love Godzilla Minus One. It was the best Godzilla has ever made, and I'm so happy that we're going to get a follow up for this one. And then you got the returning director Takashi Yamazaki, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I think he's a great director. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next with this Godzilla, because this Godzilla was the most ruthless Godzilla we have ever seen. And take this with a giant grain of salt. I haven't seen every iteration of Godzilla. I haven't seen all of them because I was never really a hardcore fan of this whole franchise. But I'm so happy that we're going to get another one, and it's in the hands of the same director. Because the last movie, if I remember correctly, that movie was like made on the $15 million budget. Get the hell out of here! That's so unreal because it didn't look like it was made on a $15 million budget. I don't know if they secretly had a lot more to spend on when they made this movie, but they really nailed it. It became one of my favorite films of that year for Minus One, and I'm curious to see how they're going to do with Minus Zero. Is it going to be darker than the last one? Is it going to be more destructive when he's destroying Tokyo? Oh god, I'm so hyped the more and more I hear about it, and I hope we get a trailer soon. Now coming at number 3, I got Dune Part 3, which is probably going to be called Dune Messiah. I don't know for sure yet. We got the returning director, Denis Villeneuve, and you know how much I'm a fan of the first 2 movies, especially Dune Part 2, it was the best film we've had in the last decade, delivering a great story, the spectacle, the characters, and this was like more of the Empire Strikes Back, and it ended on a dark note. And there's supposed to be, I think this movie is going to be taking place like at least 20 years in the future, 20-year time jump where Paul Atreides is now taking over of all houses, ruling the whole galaxy, and now he's probably going to be probably the main villain of the story. He's not going to just be the savior. He's going to be like the villain. I could be wrong about this, but when we last saw him, he was able to beat his opponent, and now he was able to take the place as the ruler of all houses, and he started the whole holy war by the end of the movie. I hope that when we get into the prologue that they show you the battle of that whole montage, because we already know they're going to do a time jump in this movie, and I can't wait to see a lot of the cast members returning, including Zendaya. Timothy Chalamet is becoming the one of the best working actors in the last decade of this new generation. He should soon get an Oscar win. He might win for Best Actor for the movie that he did a while ago called Marty Supreme, which I still need to check that movie out and see his performance. This might be a chance that he could win this one for Marty Supreme. And I just can't wait to see him coming back as Paul Atreides, because this is probably my favorite performance he has ever given in this acting career that I never thought he'd be capable of doing. He brings an on-screen presence, he gives off a little bit of a menacing vibe, and he scares the shit out of you. Oh god, I hope that this one delivers, because from what I've heard from the Dune Messiah book, a lot of people did not like the Dune Messiah book. It goes downhill later in each installments. I hope when Denis Villeneuve, when we see his version of Dune 3, that it will deliver, and it will probably be better than the book itself. And we already know that Jason Momoa is coming back as Duke. I can't wait to see Jason Momoa's back as Duke in the role. How they're going to use him, who knows? Now coming in at number 2, I got Avengers Doomsday. I know it should have been at least on my number 1 on my list, but I have my reasons why I put it on my number 2 spot. But everything I'm seeing in the marketing, in the character teasers with Steve Rogers, the Thor scene, the Wakandans, and Ben Grimm of the Thing from the Fantastic Four, every one of them have became banger. Now, I will say that the X-Men is my favorite character teaser out of all of them, and I know that we're gonna get a teaser trailer during the Super Bowl and give us a full-length teaser trailer and give us the full context, and hopefully that we get a glimpse of Doctor Doom played by Robert Downey Jr. They are hiding him in the marketing. I'm surprised that they haven't revealed him yet in these teasers, and I know that they're probably leaving out some of the digital background that is left out of the cutting room floor because those are not finished visual effects shots and they're trying to hide it from us. But the X-Men teaser gets me blood pumping because you see the returning characters of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and then you see James Marsden Cyclops wearing the 1990s X-Men outfit and shooting the optic beam out of his eyes, going head to head with the Sentinels. Oh god, this is probably going to be the time where now they're going to get their due, especially Cyclops, since they jobbed him through the Fox's X-Men movies throughout 25 years in the franchise. Now this is going to be the time where we're going to see the true Cyclops that we've always wanted, and James Marsden is going to get his second chance, and I can't wait. I have a feeling that the X-Men are going to steal the spotlight. Even though that we're going to see the Thunderbolts crew, as quote unquote the new Avengers, but we're still going to see the OG Avengers, which we know that Steve Rogers is coming back for the role, and I'm not against it because I have a feeling that they were planning on bringing him back at some point in this multiverse saga and giving us a little bit of the time gap of what he's been doing in the last over 70 years before we see him in this older form when he's in that MCU sacred timeline, and we're going to get more answers now. He has a child, and I have a feeling that Doctor Doom is going to be capturing a lot of powerful entity children throughout the multiverse, including Steve Rogers' kid, even Thor's adopted daughter that he took in and raised, and possibly Cyclops' kid. We don't know whose kid is it. Is it going to be the Cable version or his daughter from the comic book that I'm not familiar with? Who knows? And I have a feeling that with that Wakanda trailer, that teaser, I have a feeling that T'Challa's son is going to get captured. At the end of Wakanda Forever, we saw Shuri come across with T'Challa's son, that he has a child. So I feel like he might be one of them that Doctor Doom takes, and that they're all going to come into a same common ground. And even Franklin Richards that we saw in the mid-credit scene in the Fantastic Four First Steps, I have a feeling that they're going to pull off that whole Stranger Things season 5 vibe where the main villain captures his kids to try to make them stronger and does for a higher calling. Anyway, coming at number 1, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I've been waiting for years and years that now that we're going to get a street level storyline with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and we're basically getting back to the basics. You got a director that made Shang-Chi, which originally he was supposed to be attached to direct Avengers Kang Dynasty before they scrapped the plan and had the Russo brothers come in and replace him. But luckily, he's got an upgrade. He's directing a Spider-Man movie, and it's not going to be directed by John Watts. And from everything I'm seeing from those set photos and those set videos, it looks like they're going back to the basics, and then they're going to add a lot more practical stunts. Even the swinging sequence that I've seen online are outstanding. It's insane. Even Tom Holland got his head injury during the making of that film, and luckily he was able to recover and they were able to finish the movie on time. And the practical suit was coming straight out of the comics, and it does have a little bit of resemblance to Tobey Maguire's suit and Andrew Garfield's suit from the previous iteration of Spider-Man, which we know that he made the suit himself when we last saw him in Spider-Man No Way Home, and we know that Ned and MJ are going to return for the role, and they're probably not going to have a larger role. They're probably going to have a smaller role from what I've heard from Zendaya herself. And then we got John Berthel's Punisher from the Marvel's Netflix series, and even from Daredevil Born Again from the Disney Plus show, is also going to have a bigger role in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I can't wait to see how they're going to use the Punisher. And we already know that Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner is going to return for the role. I hope that they not nerf Hulk down and actually get back to the raging Hulk that we've always wanted. And we don't precisely know who's the main villain. We already know that one of the Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, Scorpion, is going to appear in the movie, and how big of a role he'll play in, we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I cannot wait for that teaser trailer to come out in a full 4K picture format. It's going to blow up the internet with the Super Bowl trailers. I can't wait. But anyway, What is your top 10 most anticipated films of 2026? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my video, make sure you hit that like button. I just recently crossed 500 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel over the years. I really appreciate it. My new goal is to reach 1K subscribers. Help me get there. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. I'm very active on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. So go and follow me on there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from. And let's hope that we have a great banger year for movies. I'm so ready. I'm so pumped. So stay tuned for more of my content.